So, 36 hours after I came home from Gen Con, which I had a lot of fun at, my coworker gave me COVID. So I had COVID for about 5 days, and I had to quarantine for about 5 days. My symptoms were pretty mild, just like a really bad cold. The really only COVID thing that I got was fatigue. I've had COVID once before, a couple years ago, and again, that was kind of like that. It was just really bad cold and just really tired. Like I didn't have a bandwidth to do anything, right? And so I could barely play Genshin. Like I did enough to do my dailies, and then that would be it. And I'd just go back to the couch and sit there like a lump. And a lump of biomass. Sneezing, coughing, leaking out the nose biomass. It was just not a fun time. So obviously I watched TV because I can't sleep all the time. So what was I watching? So when you have COVID, like I said, you don't have a very big mental bandwidth of things. So, you kind of watch the simpler kind of stuff. And what I was watching was rewatching anime. I was watching Baccano. I was watching, what was I watching? I was watching some Ghost in the Shell. I tried Project A-ko, but I just couldn't get into it again. It's a fun anime, but just because I had COVID, I couldn't get into it. So what I really found myself watching were two different things, and I'll put the links down to them down below. One of them was this guy that does rental car camping in Japan, and I'll put his title down there because I can never pronounce it correctly. But this guy, he's I'm not sure what he does for a living, but what he did was he was renting a van, and he put it in, and he would temporarily kit it out, so that he would go to these places in Japan where he could just park it and he could camp there. So he would, but inside the van. So it's not like he was like parking the van and then taking it and putting up a tent. He was actually inside the van. So he kind of goes to these unique locations, and you get this really low key idea of car camping culture in Japan, and like how there's like these road houses, not in terms of a bar, but like places that are stores that are parking lots and things like that, dedicated kind of to this. If you're a traveler and you just need a place to park and just rest for a while, you have these places, and of course there are parks that you can do that at. And so he was doing this, and part of what I was getting really into wasn't just the location, where it was kind of interesting. Like he liked a lot of snow, so a lot of his camping is out in snowy areas. But it was like kind of what he got, the little gadgets that he had, and to kid himself out with, and little ingenious things that he did to make things safe and comfortable for himself inside of this rental van. Like for example, when he would be inside because it's snowing outside and be negative whatever degrees, on the inside he'd make dinner and he'd have a little small kerosene stove thing going on. Well, he wants to make sure that he doesn't suffer from carbon monoxide and die. So he has, as a part of his kit, he kits out. He has this little detector, carbon monoxide detector, and he built this thing of like 4 mini fans that's powered by a USB port. And he opens up the window a little bit, sets the thing in, closes the window up so that it kind of makes a seal, right? And then he plugs it into a generator that he brings with him, and he runs the fans so there's consistent air flowing through, so the gases go out and the clean air comes back in. So just really ingenious stuff like that. And some of the stuff he made was actually really good. Looked really, really good. And the rice that he had, apparently his family is actually, I think he's an architect. I think that's what he does. I'm not sure. But his father has rice fields. So his father sends him rice every year as a present. And he pours out this rice into the little clay pot that he uses to make his meals. And it's beautiful, like almost little like white gems almost. It's really kind of weird. Again, the link will be down below. Like one of them was the first time I've ever seen this. Now, I have family members who know how to field dress a deer, meaning that they go out and hunt. I don't hunt, but they go out and hunt, or they are given a deer to dress and they kind of get venison as a result of that. But this is the first time I've actually seen canned venison meat packed with miso. It looked good. I'd give it a try. I don't know. Bambi tastes good. That's all I have to say. So anyway, so there was that. The other thing that I was watching, really kind of getting into, and just like, because my mental bandwidth was just not so much, but it was simple enough that I could follow it, was Yatai carts. So all these different videos of these people with these carts, ramen carts, soba noodle carts, whatever, and they come out and they do the thing, and they're usually between 30 minutes and an hour long. By the way, the car rental guy is usually around a half hour, 20 to 30 minutes long. These are usually between 30 and 60 minutes long. And they go from the beginning of setting up the cart to being a little mini restaurant where you can just show up and eat the ramen. And they show them making the ramen and soba noodles and whatever else it is that they decide to make from beginning to end. And the pricing of the food just drives me insane, because I can go to there's a chain here called Akira Ramen, and I can spend $20 on a bowl of ramen with seaweed and all the good stuff in it. And then I look at this video, and these guys just selling it for however many yen, which turns out to be like $6.50, right? And it's just like, oh, we can afford things like that here. But all the food looked really, really good. So when you have COVID, what do you watch? You watch old anime, you watch car camping, and you watch people making ramen noodles and wishing that you had some. So yeah, it was that's just kind of what I had mental bandwidth to do, to watch. There were also a couple other movies that I kind of watched there. I found I put YouTube on the television, and there was a martial arts channel where they were showing just really bad martial arts movies, both Chinese and Japanese. One was called Karate Killer. Don't recommend. Saw a Jackie Chan one, which was a spoof off of City Hunter. Yes, if you're familiar with the anime and the manga City Hunter, Jackie Chan did a movie on that, and there was a whole scene where they do the Street Fighter characters. Like, they all transform into the Street Fighter characters and fight each other. It's really kind of weird. It's a very nonsensical movie, but when you have COVID and your bandwidth is like about that much, that kind of does the trick. And also, for some reason, when I'm not feeling well, I like to watch Conan the Barbarian, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Don't know why. I'm just like, I can watch it from beginning to end, not fall asleep, and just be like, man, that was good. Who knows? Anyway, so, but I did manage to watch a couple new movies. Well, for me, new. Fury Road, Mad Max Fury Road, and Furiosa. Liked both of them. They're fun. Now I'm a completist. I have watched all the movies. I know there's a comic book out there for Mad Max, but as far as the movies are concerned, I'm done with that. All fun. And so yeah, that was my COVID TV watching. I hope you never get COVID, but if you do, maybe these things might help you pass the time as you sit there and stew in your own misery and phlegm and snot, because that's what COVID does, and it's just awful. Hope I don't get it again. God, it sucks. All right, COVID watching television. There you go. We got OnCon 11 coming up. The link for that will be down below. Please check that out. And yeah, because I've got a panel going on, and on that, it's free. And yeah, I hope to see you guys there. All right, so that's it for this week. Stay well. Do what you got to do to be healthy. You don't want COVID. It's not fun. And yeah, hope to see you guys soon. And love you guys. And as always, watch more anime.